How is it doing?
Okay. I'll bring the meeting to order. Mayor Pro Tem, are you here? I'm gonna do a roll call right now. Councilmember Rivenborough? Yes, sir. Councilmember Spears, I know I'm gonna give him an absent because we cannot connect with him at this moment, but we're trying. Councilmember Waddell is out of town. He's on his way? Okay, very good. Councilmember Andrews?
Here.
Councilmember Joyner?
Here.
The chair is here. C1 is approval of the minutes. C2 is a resolution authorizing a lease of the 9th floor of Skyline Center to Anza Services LLC. C3 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a 3-year agreement with E-Plus Technology Incorporated of Herndon, Virginia, to purchase various Varonis cybersecurity software in the amount of $510,344. C4 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for a grant from the Department of Justice Bulletproof Vest Partnership in the amount of $125,621 with the required local match of $62,811. Public hearings, PH1 is an ordinance amending the Land Development Code, Chapter 618, to modify use and dimensional standards within the R3 medium high density mixed residential zoning district. PH2 is an ordinance amending the Land Development Code, Chapter 18, to establish food bank as a new use. And then PH3 is an ordinance designating the Wilmington Iron Works building at 201 South Water Street as a local historic landmark. PH4 is an ordinance directing the housing inspector to vacate, close, and repair or demolish a dwelling in 1964 Carolina Beach Road as unfit for human habitation pursuant to Article 5, Chapter 16 of the City Code, and directing that a notice be placed thereon prohibiting its use or occupancy. Then ordinances, 01 is an ordinance making supplemental appropriations in the amount of $98,000 from committed revenue funds for Live Oak Bank Pavilion and Riverfront Park. 02A is the ordinance making appropriation of $66,603 to the Public Facilities Capital Projects Fund for the River Lights Fire Station project. And then 02B is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a change order to Samet Corporation for the River Lights Fire Station in the amount of $250,677. And then finally, our resolution, R1, is a resolution opposing the Fuquay-Varina interbasin transfer request and call for additional public hearings, and this is being brought forward by Councilmember Rivenborough.
I just want to make a comment. This is, of all the things that we've had come to us from the Lower Cape Fear Water and Sewer Authority and requests for upstream people taking water out of the Cape Fear River, we have never had an opposition to lending water to anybody upstream with the caveat that they return the water to the Cape Fear River. And this particular request from the town of Fuquay-Varina does not do that. And I hope everybody will take 3 minutes to read this and see that the uphill battle we have faced with this, asking for information. They've been working on this for years, and now they've sent 2,000 pages of stuff and given us 90 days to digest it. So this has far-reaching effects on our area and our water intake. There's a domino effect. So this is extremely important. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Ms. Hawk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have one presentation this morning, which is from the Deputy Director of the WMPO, Abby Lorenzo, who will be talking to Council about the Metropolitan Transportation Plan.
Welcome, Abby.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of Council, for the opportunity to present to you all this morning. As Ms. Hawk just stated, I will be presenting this morning on the WMPO's recently adopted Metropolitan Transportation Plan, Cape Fear Navigating Change 2050. So my presentation is going to briefly touch upon what the WMPO is and our requirements, about the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, its development process, how to support this MTP moving forward, and then I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have. So real quick, just a refresher about the Wilmington Urban Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. It was established in the early 1970s, and today serves a population of over 300,000 and has approximately 494 square mile planning area. We have a 13-member board comprised of 12 elected officials and 1 appointed member from the North Carolina Board of Transportation. Our board sets the organization's policy and direction, as well as ensures that our processes are coordinated and comprehensive, meeting federal and state requirements. The WMPO is federally required to plan and prioritize how federal transportation dollars are spent within our region. This is accomplished through what we call the 3C planning process, standing for continuing, cooperative, and comprehensive. Federally specified WMPO responsibilities include maintaining the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, which I'm going to talk about today, as well as helping to prioritize projects for the MPO and state transportation improvement programs for funding. Federal law requires every MPO to maintain a Metropolitan Transportation Plan, or MTP for short, with at least a 20-year planning horizon that is updated on a 4 or 5-year basis. MTPs identify regional transportation project needs, as well as provide a roadmap, if you will, towards implementing them over the coming years. The WMPO's plan, recently adopted Cape Fear Navigating Change 2050, looks ahead 25 years and was adopted on October 29th, 2025 by the WMPO board within 5 years of our previously adopted MTP. There are federal requirements for MTPs, including that it be multimodal, fiscally constrained, as well as consider local and future land uses. This means that we plan for all 6 modes of transportation that are available here to the public in the WMPO region, including aviation, bicycle and pedestrian, ferry and water transportation, rail, public transportation, and roadway. The plan's development spanned more than 3 years and involved extensive public outreach, technical analysis, and collaboration with the WMPO's member jurisdictions. To support the effort, the WMPO established 2 committees. The first was the Metropolitan Transportation Plan Steering Committee, or MTPC for short. This was comprised of subject matter experts in transportation, urban planning, public health, emergency management, and other fields, providing technical guidance in the development of the plan. The second was the Citizen Advisory Committee, or CAC for short. This was composed of volunteer citizen representatives appointed by the WMPO board. And essentially, these were representatives of their individual communities, assisting WMPO staff in ensuring that all of our outreach efforts were comprehensive and reaching all members of our planning area. The plan's development began with a 4-month public outreach period to collect input through an interactive survey and map tool. Outreach efforts included holding 6 public meetings, attending 16 community events throughout our region, conducting 9 stakeholder interviews with community groups, and providing 13 presentations. The efforts led to robust engagement, generating 96 in-person comments, more than 2,300 survey responses, and over 3,200 map comments. From the collected input, we learned that most residents drive alone. Top transportation priorities today are safety, cost, and convenience. In the future, respondents indicated a desire for more options to walk, bike, and use public transportation. And when it comes to future projects, safety, congestion relief, and better transit and bicycle and pedestrian facilities are top focuses. The 2050 MTP vision statement was created through a combination of this public input, the WMPO's mission and vision statements, and the MTPC's review and input. Together, these guided us in defining the region's long-term vision. Our region will thrive and prosper through a fair and resilient transportation network that supports economic vitality while improving quality of life and place. Considering the 2050 MTP vision statement, the WMPO strategic plan recommendations, and our federal planning factors, A set of goals to guide the plan's implementation were also developed to translate the vision into clear priorities. These 5 guiding goals were established as safe, fair, connected, resilient, and proactive. To establish how goals would be met, modal objectives for each transportation mode were also developed. These objectives then informed both the project ranking criteria and the development of modal policies, ensuring a clear connection between the plan's vision and how projects are prioritized and implemented. Priority project lists, derived from identified needs and recommendations in other local, regional, and state transportation planning efforts, were developed collaboratively with our member jurisdictions and planning partners across all modes. Each project was evaluated using objective criteria defined by the 5 guiding goals of safe, fair, connected, resilient, and proactive. Also note, aviation projects were excluded from this process due to the rapidly changing project needs of the Wilmington International Airport and its ability to implement projects utilizing its own capital funding and discretionary grants. A critical component of the plan is the financial forecast, which projects the region's available federal, state, and local funds through 2050. The forecast provides a realistic picture based on today's traditional funding sources and their current revenues of the funding resources that our region can realistically expect to receive over the life of the plan. The forecast estimates that the WMPO region will receive approximately $5.98 billion in capital funding revenues for new project investments through 2050. The fiscal constraint analysis To achieve the federal requirement for fiscal constraint, the financial forecast was considered against the ranked priority roadway project list. High-ranking projects with estimated costs falling within the forecasted revenue amount were considered to be fiscally constrained and are the roadway project recommendations in the MTP. The analysis revealed that an estimated gap of $7.9 billion would occur over the next 25 years between the region's identified roadway project needs and the estimated amount of funding to fund those needs. Recognizing this significant deficit, the WMPO board reviewed several potential alternative funding sources that could supplement traditional transportation funding to deliver more of the region's project needs. These alternatives included options such as quarter-cent local sales tax, vehicle registration fees, and transportation bonds, among others. The analysis demonstrated how additional funding for transportation could help the WMPO's member jurisdictions implement additional project needs as well as deliver their key projects sooner. This past summer, the WMPO invited the public and partner agencies to review and comment on the draft MTP. Comments were submitted in person at 5 in-person events, via email, through the mail, as well as through a digital survey that was available online. We received 57 comments. They were all reviewed and addressed by WMPO staff. None of the comments received resulted in any changes to our project priority recommendation list. The final plan, with its 6 chapters listed here on the slide, is comprehensive, covering our region's existing conditions, how our projects were prioritized, reviewed, and analyzed, and a detailed map of projects and policies to guide us to 2050. The plan is designed to be both a policy guide and a working document for both staff and elected officials. There is also an appendix document that includes the data and tools that were utilized to develop the plan. The final plan reflects the collective priorities of our region, a shared vision grounded in public input, data, and fiscal responsibility. It also includes updates to both the WMPO's Go Coast Program Short-Range Transportation Demand Management Plan, as well as the 2050 Wilmington Regional Travel Demand Model. This slide shows some of the priority roadway and bicycle and pedestrian projects that were submitted by the City of Wilmington and are included recommendations in the plan. These projects reflect the city's needs, not only the city's needs, but also the regional importance of these projects for achieving the region's 2050 vision and goals. The 2050 MTP will be integrated into all of the WMPO's planning efforts, technical services, and programs. This includes informing project submittals for evaluation and the strategic prioritization process to develop the state and MPO transportation improvement program. It will be also used during the project scoping and development process for funded projects to define project type and other cross-section details such as bicycle and pedestrian components. The 2050 MTP was built with strong input from the WMPO's member jurisdictions. The WMPO encourages member jurisdictions to integrate the 2050 into local planning and project implementation efforts, as well as to utilize and participate in and promote the WMPO's various programs and initiatives like our Go Coast TDM program. Looking ahead, and as federally required, the WMPO will begin work on the 2055 MTP in 2028. Regular updates ensure that our regional transportation vision and priorities remain current as the region grows and needs change. The WMPO looks forward to continuous coordination and partnership with its members as the region navigates these changes. In closing, we want to sincerely thank our members and planning partners for their time, collaboration, and commitment to shaping the future of our region's transportation network. Lastly, is where the plan can be found. The final MTP is available to the public on the WMPO's website at wmpo.org/MTP. Hard copies of the plan can be viewed at the WMPO's office located at 525 North 4th Street. Hard copies will also be distributed to all of our member jurisdictions and area local libraries. And
Questions?
questions. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions? Abby, can we go back just to the funding part of that? Just want to ask a question. So the quarter-cent local option sales tax, that would be a regional effort or would it be just individual municipalities, counties? How
So
would that work?
it would be implemented by counties. The number shown on the screen is an estimate of what could be generated in just the WMPO region if this were undertaken by Brunswick County, New Hanover County, and Pender County.
Would it have to go for a vote?
It's my understanding, yes.
So let's just say if New Hanover County passed it, or Brunswick County passed it, but Pender didn't. Pender wouldn't receive anything, and then Brunswick and New Hanover would receive funding for the projects within their jurisdiction?
The money would have to be spent in the jurisdiction where it's coming
Sure.
from, yeah.
Okay.
It
Within
would
the
be spent
jurisdiction?
in the jurisdiction it's coming from.
Okay, and then on the quarter cent, in regards to transportation initiatives, since counties do not build roads, how would that work? Does anybody know?
So we've had discussions with NCDOT, especially for those higher dollar projects. Essentially, there would have to be some type of agreement for putting that local contribution towards projects that would be in an unincorporated area.
Okay, and then I guess on the quarter cent local option, each jurisdiction, governmental jurisdiction would put up that for a vote.
My understanding, the way the statute reads, the quarter cent local option is in a referendum run by counties, not municipalities.
But the municipality obviously would get a percentage.
That I would assume so. I guess that would all have to be worked out as part of that.
Okay, all right.
I'm curious as to what would have been generated had the quarter cent sales tax prevailed, what was that, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
I don't have that number right here, but I'd be more than happy to get that
Okay.
for you all.
That's no
Mr.
problem.
Bennett.
It's just, it's a lot of money that would have gone directly to some of these very issues. Quarter cent, you spend $100 and it costs you a quarter on $100, and it failed. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yes, Mr. Waddell?
I served on the alternative funding subcommittee for the that was looking at some of these alternative funding options, thus the name. And the plan that we kind of have been working through contemplated effectively creating a, help me with the name, Abby, or maybe Mike. What it would be, it's a separate authority that, like a transportation authority that would have perhaps elected officials, perhaps not elected officials. We could look at various ways that other counties have done it. We would be probably the first that created some sort of tri-county partnership should all the counties opt in. But my understanding would be, you'd have a representative makeup of that authority that would then advocate for their for the entire region, which is a good thing, but also for their various interests.
That's going to be the most challenging part is the money, right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hawk?
No other presentations here this morning, Mr. Mayor, but we do plan to adjourn this meeting, and then we have a budget work session with council that we will have upstairs on the 12th floor.
Okay, very good. Any other questions, council? Okay. We will adjourn this meeting and reconvene upstairs on the 12th floor. With that, we stand adjourned.